What's up guys, I'm Caddy here, and today guys, week 1 of the DSL off-season where I am up against the Darkrai Slayer, coach of the Dark Void Dunsparces. So if you guys are excited, don't forget to leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it. What we're going to be doing, as always, is running through what Darkrai might be bringing, what we're going to be bringing to answer that, and we've got some power this week, and then we're going to be going into the replay from there. So, he has got a very, very fat team, probably the fattest team I've ever faced, I would say, with Crobat, Delphox, Mew, Blastoise, Breloom, Clefable, Weezing, P2, Gorebyss, M-Ampharos, Spiritomb, and Steelix. So you've got so much bulk there. Steelix, Spiritomb, M-Ampharos, Porygon 2, Weezing, Clefable, Blastoise, Mew, Crobat. So that's like 9 potential walls there, which is going to be very, very spooky for me to try and have to break through. It took me a long time to build this team because there's so many different walls that you have to make sure you can be able to take out. There's backup plans to be able to take out those walls and all of that good stuff. So the first Pokemon I decided I definitely had to bring was the Diggersby. Diggersby Calcs just make me feel so happy. Like, it's so underrated and it's so powerful as a wall breaker that's absolutely disgusting. So I've got a Life Orb Diggersby with the huge power with Return, Earthquake, Quick Attack, and Swords Dance. So the main plan with this guy is to mainly wall break with the Return and Earthquake. Quick Attack allows me to outspeed the only 3 things to outspeed on his team, which is Crobat and Delphox. And I guess it helps me with Breloom as well, though I'm speed crept for that. So I'm guaranteed to outspeed. I can Quick Attack and, you know, basically bop it from there unless it's, if I get an SD up. If not an SD, then I'm got a good chance of doing more than 50%, so that's pretty good. But the main plan is to try and find an opportunity to SD. So, you know, for example, I'm trying to think of an example. Say he's out in Steelix, I'm out with Diggersby. He might switch out there, go into Crobat, and if he's offensive bat after rocks, a Quick Attack from a +2 Diggersby has a really good chance to OHKO. So that's really, really beautiful. Or he goes into, you know, P2 or something like that to be able to try and wall it. So that's going to be really, really fun with the huge power. We hit 422 attack with the Life Orb, means we get another 30%. So we're close to like 550, something like that attack, which is absolutely crazy. Like, this guy, you think Azumarill hits like, you know, like crazy, like this guy hits so much harder. Like, the Return has got a lot more power than both Waterfall and Play Rough, and same with Earthquake, and he has another 6 in his attack investment, so it is really, really nice from there. Next up, we have got our winning condition, which is Devil, the Jirachi, with the leftovers and Serene Grace. This guy can set up on so many of his walls. He's got a whole load of passive stuff like Weezing, P2, Spiritomb, Steelix. I guess not Spiritomb, but mainly like, not Spiritomb, sorry, Crobat, potentially Blastoise, Clefable, Weezing, and P2. So I've got 5 out of the 12 Mons, so I've got a very good chance of having at least one of those coming along. And I've got Psyshock and Shadow Ball, which hits a whole of his team neutrally, or super effectively, with Substitute and Calm Mind. There's a lot, as I said, a lot of things I can set up a sub on. I can start setting up Calm Minds. I'm speed crept to outspeed Breloom, which means I outspeed the rest of his team, unless he brings Speedy Blastoise, but I wouldn't really expect that. So this guy is definitely going to be a win con either late game or use him mid game to just try and, you know, wreak havoc and take as many things down as possible. Next, we got the Blastoise. Like this, the Breloom is a really key speed tier for my whole thing, because Breloom's a really big threat, but he's only really a big threat if he can outspeed stuff as well. And obviously things that take a Map Punch. And I do have a few different weaknesses to Map Punch, so I have to be really careful around it. And it meant that I had to bring Speedy Blastoise here, with School Dark Pulse to hit the Mew very hard. Ice Beam there, which allows me to help take out Crobat, hit Breloom, and M-Ampharos as well. So that's going to be really nice. And basically this guy's going to be bulky, get rid of hazards if he decides to, you know, bring hazards and T-Spikes with Weezing and things like that. And then the rest of the coverage just basically just handles the rest of his team very, very nicely. And then we got the Cow. I needed some form of rocks and a check to Mew, because Mew can do basically like anything, well, within reason. It can do Nasty Plot, it can do Rock Polish, both of which would be very scary for my team, because while my team is a lot faster than his team, I've speed crept it so it's only slightly faster. So if he can bring something with a lot more speed, you know, by setting up to bring faster than my team, then I could potentially be in trouble there. So I needed a check to that, which this guy does pretty well. I've got the T-Wave on there, which allows me to basically spread status. Return does a decent chunk to most things, and then, as I said, the Stealth Rocks will be nice. It breaks Brilliant's potential sash, helps me versus Crobat and Delphox and things like that, and really helps Diggersby get into those really key OHKOs or 2-hit KOs from there with Quick Attack. Then we've got the Heliolisk. I had to bring this Heliolisk because, first of all, it gives me a complete check outside of Sash Gorebyss if the rocks aren't up, because I outspeed a +2 Gorebyss, then he can't baton pass or do any shenanigans, or even just sweep me, to be honest. So that's very, very nice. It also allows me to outspeed every Scarf on his team apart from Scarf Crobat, but I wouldn't really expect that considering I've got Ments and I've got Jirachi to be able to check that. So overall should be really nice in terms of coverage. I did originally have Dark Pulse for the Mew, but I decided I would be better off with Scarf with Dragon Pulse because that has the potential to kill M-Ampharos. And if he doesn't have Focus Blast and he's offensive, and he tries to go for an Agility, for example, I should be able to 1v1 him from there, so that's going to be really, really nice. And then finally, we have got the Salamence. I originally had Pangoro here just to do a little bit more juicy wall breaking, but unfortunately, Breloom then became a huge, huge issue because he could just spam Mach Punch and just make me cry. So I needed a check to Breloom, and I needed a way to basically break through a lot of his bulk and things like that, and this Salamence set looked to be the best way. So I've got enough speed here to speed creep Breloom. It's just such a key tier because it means I can outspeed most of his teams. So that's really, really nice. And because of that, I didn't have to invest too much. I've got max special attack with a modest rash nature, so I can just drop Dracos and Fire Blasts, which mainly are for the Steelix there. So that's going to be really, really nice. And then we got Iron Tail. Now, I've specially set up this Salamence so the Iron Tail has enough investment that even if it's Wish Protect, 252 Bold Clefable with Protect, after me hitting it on the switch, because I am 100% expecting the Clefable switch, regardless of what's out, even if it's Breloom's out and stuff like that, I'm clicking Iron Tail the first time, because I know that's going to be his dedicated switch if he does decide to bring Clefable. So, as long as I can hit 2, I'm guaranteed to be able to kill, even if he comes in, takes the hit, gets leftovers, protects, gets leftovers, the next Iron Tail is then guaranteed to kill, as long as I hit 2. And then Roost allows me some longevity, and I can potentially stall out the Breloom if it doesn't have Spore, or something else is spored, and stuff like that. So, that's the team that we've got. What we're going to do now is go into the battle, and we can sort of talk through exactly what happened from there. Okay, so we are at the battle, and as you can see, he brought a lot of bulk here. He's got the Blastoise, the P2, which I know is always going to be a pain, Weezing, which was interesting, like, it checked a few things, but it didn't really, like, if I had sub-DD Ments or something like that, it would really struggle against me. So it's an interesting thing to bring, but, you know, it would mainly depend on what sort of, Jirachi set I bring and stuff like that, because Jirachi does a number on, on poor little Weezing there. We've got the Clefable as I expected, and a little bit more offense, than I was possibly expecting. I didn't know if he would go, like, the complete bulk route, or he would go for, like, bulk, but then with some offense on there. So he's got Delphox. You know, not the biggest problem, but what I do notice, though, is Jirachi can set up on that, he can potentially set up on that, potentially set up on that, do a huge amount of that, and that is the only real problem. I could potentially set up on this guy as well if he doesn't have Dark Pulse, and considering he needs to have Rapid Spin, he needs to probably have Scald, probably have Ice Beam. There's a good chance he won't be able to pack Dark Pulse on this. That would be really, really nice. So, what I decided to lead here was was probably my best lead. I wasn't expecting, like, a Clefable lead. Most likely some sort of like Breloom lead to try and catch my Miltank if I want to lead up with that to get rocks up or stuff like that. So, and also the fact that it can Mach Punch, it basically has a good matchup against 3 out of the 6 of my Mons, so why wouldn't you lead with it? Like, it's a pretty good chance that you will be able to take it on. So he leads off with the Blastoise. Shout outs to my terrible lead predictions as always. So I decide here I'm best off just playing it safe, going to Heliolisk. I can take a Scald very well. Ice Beam doesn't do too much, and if he's got, you know, Toxic or anything like that, I'll be fine. He does show that he's got the Toxics, that's okay. So I take a while to decide here, because he doesn't have a Steel type. I can basically freely Volt Switch here if I want to. But do I want to? Like, what if he's Assault Vest with Mirror Coat? So I had to think about it. I was like, well, to be honest, I think I've got to risk it. He does switch out here, and I get the Volt Switch off, so that's absolutely beautiful, bringing in the P2. So now, in comes the Jirachi, and here we go. So I go for the sub here, as he goes for the Thunder Wave. And that's very, very nice for us. And basically, we start setting up our Calm Mines here. And he's staying in, so that's even more beautiful. I need to get to +3 to guarantee to kill the Delphox. After it obviously then breaks my sub first. It breaks my sub with Fire Blast, and then I can go on from there. He basically goes for a few interesting moves like T-Wave and stuff like that. I don't know what he was trying to do exactly. He now goes for the T-Bolt, and I basically have to just sub up again, which is very, very nice. Now the Delphox comes out, I just click Shadow Ball. He kicks Fire Blast, breaks the sub, so that's really great. And now we take him out with the take the Delphox out. The crit didn't actually matter, So that's actually quite lucky. I put another sub here. I was like, oh, he's probably got Clear Smog. I can take that. But he has the Haze, so that was very well prepped on his part. But that's fine by me. I can just go for a Side Shock, see how much it is. If he's got Flamethrower, then I'm fine. But he doesn't look like he's got Flamethrower. So basically, he's just got to try and... he's got a way to get rid of my setup, but he doesn't have a way to break my subs. So that's fine. So I go for a few like cheeky Calm Minds, because I know after a Calm Mind, I can then bop him from there. But he does seem determined to click Haze here. So I just go for the Side Shock here. No, go for a few other Calm Minds just to try, because if it just takes one mistake for him to not do that, and I'm good to go. So I go for Side Shock here, bring him down very, very low, and now he goes for Haze. Now this was a really big misplay on my part. No, it wasn't, like it was really good prep on his part. What I should have done, and what I was thinking, like alarm bells kind of went off, like why does this Weezing have no recovery? I went for Side Shock, he's not got the Psychic Berry. What item could he possibly have? He's not got Expert Belt to make his Flamethrowers hit harder. Like, what is it? And it didn't cross my mind until it popped up. And it was absolutely beautiful prep on my opponent's part. Because at this point I was like, woo, I can 6-0 him, woo, you know, we're in the money sort of thing. And out comes the Custard Berry Destiny Bond. I should have played it safe, I should have calm minded, but it just didn't cross my mind. I knew there was something there that didn't make sense about the fact that the Weezing didn't show recovery, and I'm still kicking myself about the fact that didn't happen. So I decided to go out into my Helios, make another bit of a plane, but I switch out here. I'm not expecting Spore in case he just thinks I'm going to stay in. I'm expecting just a simple Map Punch here, and he does go for that simple Map Punch. That's very nice on our part. So now what I can do is I can go for that Iron Pet Tail. I told you, regardless of what's in, I'm clicking Iron Tail, because at the very least I break Breloom's Sash, and that's going to be very nice, because then I've got that at the outspeed. It might even do enough where Diggersby's Quick Attack will take it out, and basically just makes my life a lot easier. So I go for the Iron Tail here. It does a huge amount of damage. This looks to be specially defensive Clef, and I'm pretty much good to go for here. In terms of what I want to go next, I was like, oh, I don't want to drop a Draco predicting the switch, because you guys know what I'm like with the over predictions and stuff. So I was like, I'll just go for a Fire Blast, best chance to hit. Even if he goes into Blastoise, this guy cannot recover up on anything, and I'm speed crept to be able to outspeed Clefable with every single mon. So it's literally a useless mon from here. So that's very, very nice. So we do take him out from there. Out comes Blastoise. I decided to go into the Helios again, as he just goes for Ice Beam. That's fine. I knew I could take it, regardless of what he decided to go for. I go for another Volt Switch here, so I'm basically just keeping the momentum up. Out comes Seizure, and now I go into the Diggersby. I go for the SD here, as he goes for the Recover to just try and play it safe, I think. And, oh, I did not mean to reset that. We're gonna quickly get back to where we were. So professional. Okay, so the Diggersby goes to the return, and I do get the crit. The crit was unfortunate, because depending on his spread, it may or may not have killed. It just really depended on how much defense investment this guy actually had. But in the end of the day, it doesn't make too much difference, because his only real switch, he'd have Ice Beam me, I'd have taken like 60-70% with the analytic, and I'd have then killed him next turn, and he would be forced to go into Breloom anyway. And then I go for the Quick Attack, bring him down to a Sash. So regardless of what happened, like, it didn't actually make any difference. And he goes for a Drain Punch here, which is very nice for him, because he's able to get a huge amount of recovery back. But now what I can do is I can go into Blastoise, just fire off a very cheeky Ice Beam. There's literally no point me over predicting here, because I've got quite reliable switches. I can just go back into Heliolisk and see what he decides to do from here. And he just decides to stay in, so that's fine by me. I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch, do a really good amount of damage, and I decided to go into Miltank here. And now, that was mainly in case he's still got that Mirror Coat. That Mirror Coat was still in the back of my mind, and I thought if anything has to go down, it will probably be Miltank, but Miltank might even live that. So that's absolutely fine. So from here, I know I can just fire off returns. I'm at a good amount of HP, where if Breloom came in, I could take it on. And he does go for Toxic, and I do get a crit. Now, the crit's a little bit unfortunate, but to be honest, I don't know, actually, it actually probably played in his favour, because I knew I would be able to 1v1 the Blastoise, and then he was able to come in later on and Drain Punch me with the Breloom. So actually, me critting and having less turns of Toxic and Scalds and stuff like that probably, you know, didn't actually make too much difference. So out comes the Breloom here. I just fire off a return, getting a really nice amount of damage off. Unfortunately, just missing out on the mark, as he's able to go for a Drain Punch, get a huge amount of HP back. Now here, I was like, oh, I could be really cheeky. I could be so cheeky, and I could switch out, and I could go into Ments and play it safe and preserve differential. But I was like, look, I'm always like, win the game, like, unless it's completely 100% in the bag. And here, there was still potential for me not to be able to pull it back. So arguably, there was still a really good chance I could have gone into Mence as he potentially tried to Spore. But anyway, it's fine. I go into Torter here, just go for the Ice Beam because I outspeed, and that is going to be the game from there. So we managed to finish 3-0, which is very nice. So mad at myself about not getting that 6-0. But as I said, I smelt like something that I knew wasn't right. But I should have just calm-minded that turn, just to see what was going on, and just to test the water. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy the battle. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.